Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about everything Ali Hazelwood. I noticed a few months back that I was very close to reading all of Ali Hazelwood's Backlist. So I accelerated my reading of the newer books, finished them out, and I have now officially read everything that has been published. And I did that just so I could do this video. I really wanted to rank Ali Hazelwood books in the order to which I enjoyed them and kind of tell you my thoughts on each book in-depthly. Now, some of these I read a long time ago. My very first Ali Hazelwood, like most people, was The Love Hypothesis, and that I read many moons ago. So I do have notes on kind of my thoughts. I went back and really tried to soak up my memory of each book to make this list. Now, I will say, my list may differ from yours, and that's perfectly fine. I obviously like Ali Hazelwood books because I have read them all. You don't typically read the entire backlist of an author you do not like. So the lowest starred book on this list is 3 stars. So it definitely does show that I do like the author. There's a few reasons for that. I do like the systematic way Ali Hazelwood writes a romance. I know for a lot of people that is actually a detractor, but for me, it's actually one of the reasons that I like her books so much. I love kind of knowing what I'm getting into. There's not really any surprises with an Ali Hazelwood, and I just enjoy my time and really find them quite cozy in that way, with them being kind of knowing to me of what's coming. And you may notice that that might be why one of the books is lower on this list than maybe most people would put it. It is the most un-Ali Hazelwood book of the Ali Hazelwood books, and therefore was not necessarily my favorite. So let's dive in. We're going to go from my least favorite to my most, and let's talk about my ranking. So Ali Hazelwood has released 7 books if you put the novellas together in the Loathe to Love You book set, which is how I did rank them. So we are going to start at number 7, which may surprise some people because I know it is a well-loved book, but for me, it was not it, and that was Bride. Now, first and foremost, I'm not a big fantasy romance person, and because of the story, this falls into that. So immediately, this didn't necessarily fall into something that I would really enjoy. I like Ali Hazelwood because it's very systematic and I prefer the STEM romances. In this book, we follow Misery. Misery is a vampire. She is kind of the heir to this large vampire kingdom. Her father is the head, and she will someday kind of take over for him in theory. They want to broker peace with the werewolves, so they decide to do a marriage of convenience with her and the alpha werewolf, Lo. She does not really want to do this. Her father kind of signs her up for it without her permission, but they do get married anyway. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did give this one 3 stars, so it wasn't completely unlikable. I gave it kind of like a middle of the road rating, but it would have been rated lower had there not been a side character in this book that I fell in love with. That side character was Anna, who was Lo's little sister, and I absolutely loved Anna, and I loved her relationship with both Lo and Misery. Also, a big chunk of this book is kind of discovering some things about Anna, so there was enough of Anna in this book to really pique my interest. Had this book not had Anna and just focused on the romance, I think my rating would have been a bit lower. I also just found that the writing in this book was not up to par with what I expect from Ali Hazelwood. The dialogue was a bit stilted, and there was just a few things that just didn't work for me in this book. So unfortunately, it's coming out at number 7. For number 6, we have the Loathe to Love You set of novellas. This probably would have been lower on the list had it not been for one novella in this set. One of them I loved a lot. I ended up giving it 5 stars on its own, and that was Below Zero. The other ones in here are Under One Roof and Stuck With You. All 3 follow 3 different friends as they get themselves stuck in something. One gets stuck in an elevator, one gets stuck in a house. Not stuck, she can leave the house, she's the least stuck. But she gets an inheritance from her mentor who only owns half the house. And the other half is owned by someone who doesn't want her there and she doesn't want him there. So they're kind of like stuck with the house. And the last one, the one that I liked, was Below Zero. And she gets stuck in a crevasse in, I think, Iceland. I did score these separately and did read them separately. I didn't read them all consecutively. I gave Stuck With You 3 stars. I gave Under One Roof 4. And I gave Below Zero 5. Below Zero got 5 for one sheer reason, and that was Ian, the main character. I give all my stars to Ian. Ian is fabulous. So if you were just going to pick up one of these novellas, I would recommend Below Zero. They are okay, but that one is fabulous in my opinion. I don't really have anything else to really say about this one because they are novellas, they're pretty quick stories, and they're fine. At number 5, we have my first ever Ali Hazelwood book, and that is The Love Hypothesis. I gave this 3 stars. And I know this is what shot Ali Hazelwood into all of our minds, but overall, I do not think it's her strongest book. It's a fun time. It's super tropey. It's great that it's a STEM romance. There's lots of great things about it, but I think a lot of her later work is better. In this book, we follow Olive and Adam. She is a PhD candidate. He is a professor, not her professor. I do want to state that because that would change the dynamics of the book a lot. Her best friend keeps trying to set her up on a ton of dates. She wants this to end. She does not need to be set up any longer. So she says she's dating someone and On wants proof. On is her best friend. And she decides to basically say, I'm dating that guy over there. Not seeing who he is, his back is turned. Then she walks over and kisses him, and it's the professor. He does go along with this fake dating scheme, so that is the trope in this book. It's fake dating. And obviously, with all fake dating romances, it spurs forth from there. In this book, we do see a lot of the tropes that Ali Hazelwood likes to fall back on, and a lot of the writing similarities that she likes to fall back on. We have our STEM romance, obviously. She writes STEM romances. We also have this point of like one of our main characters being very obsessed with a specific type of food. You'll see that kind of play out throughout multiple books. In this book, it's pumpkin spice, which relatable. And one of the things in this book that we did see that we do see in later books, but it has gone much better as we've gone along, is some physical attributes or physical things that the characters do together that are realistically unrealistic. My other biggest gripe with this book, and it kind of is also my gripe with Bride as well, is the cover art does not match the character descriptions in the book. For this book, we are meant to believe that this man pushed a truck that is no longer working uphill all on his own. I do not believe the man on this cover could do that. You need some serious muscles to do that. The man in the book could. He's ridden with some serious muscles. The man on the cover, not so much. Back to my Bride saying the cover doesn't work. That's a fox. That's not a wolf. That's a fox. I will say till my dying day, that's a fox. With number 4, we ended up with Love on the Brain. I actually gave this one 4 stars, and it would have been a little bit higher had the ending been a little bit different. The ending of this was strange. We still had our happily ever after, but there was like a weird mystery twist to the end that left me feeling a little like, what are we doing? Why did we decide to do that? And that part didn't work for me completely and definitely deterred from my love of this book over time. In this book, we follow B. B is offered a job at NASA to work on a neuroengineering project. And her co-lead is Levi at this project, and they were arch nemesis in graduate school. So this is an enemies to lovers book. We are getting most of that he's arch enemies situation from her perspective. And we find out as we go through the book that that really was never the case. He was very awkward with her because he liked her. So she took it as he didn't like her, and he took it as I'm nervous to be around her. This book also has strong You've Got Mail vibes, with both of them having anonymous Twitter accounts that they both kind of use to further women in STEM or morals in STEM. But since they are secret Twitter accounts, nobody knows who runs them. And we have that You Got Mail vibe, which I do love You Got Mail. Again, if this would not have had that weird ending, I would have liked this one a lot more. But up until that ending, I actually really did enjoy this book. I did end up giving it 4 stars, and that's how it kind of came in the middle of this rating system. For the book that has come in third, we have Love Theoretically. This book was a fun book, and I did give this one 4 stars as well. This one is another enemies to lovers romance that is a common theme in the next few books, which maybe shows that that is a trope that I really do enjoy overall. In this book, we follow Elsie. Elsie is an adjunct professor, but has a job on the side for an app that gives you a fake girlfriend. And she is a fake girlfriend for people who need a date to a wedding or a family event. She does this because she needs extra money. Adjunct professors do not make a lot of money and do not have health insurance from the story that we read. And Elsie has type 1 diabetes, so definitely needs money for insulin and healthcare and all the things that she needs. She is hoping to get a position at MIT. She's put herself in to get a job there because it comes with better pay and health insurance. When she arrives for kind of the first round of interviews, she sees Jack. Jack is the brother of one of her favorite clients, Greg. Jack does not know that she's a professor. It causes a lot of kind of confusion at the beginning because he knows her as Elsie the librarian, because obviously when she fake dates, she kind of has like an alternative personality. So she has to first convince him that she is actually a professor, not a librarian. And then they end up finding out that they are very much on opposite sides of physics, experimental and theoretical physics. These two factions of physics kind of look down on each other, do not agree with each other, and we find out that Jack may be the reason that even started. He ended up writing a paper that actually got her mentor fired, kind of pitting experimental and theoretical physicists against each other. These enemies go lovers, and I did really enjoy this book. I would recommend it. 4 stars, and it is very high on this list. For number 2, we have the book that I was the most nervous to read from Ali Hazelwood, and that was Check and Mate. Because this was marketed as YA, and I do not like YA romance anymore. I'm over YA romance. I cannot care about the angst of teenagers any longer. But I really liked this book. I really, really, really liked it. This, however, in my opinion, is not YA. It is definitely new adult. It has much more mature themes that I think take it out of the YA genre. Also, both of our characters are definitely adults. I think Nolan is 20. She, I think, might be 18, but she's taking care of her whole family and has for a while. So she's operating as an adult. Our female protagonist is named Mallory, and Mallory used to love chess. Her father taught her chess. She used to play competitive chess, but she walked away when her father had kind of a dramatic thing happen in their family. Their father is not in this book. He is not a part of this book, and we see that she is taking care of her 2 younger sisters and her mother. She's really helping her mother run the household. Her mother, I believe, has a chronic illness. I can't remember which one, but her mother does. So it makes her have to kind of step up and take care of everything. Made her not go to college because she had to get a job and work towards helping the family. She does go back to chess for one tournament, a charity tournament, because her best friend asks her to. At this charity chess tournament, she ends up beating the best player currently on the circuit, Nolan the King Killer. Nolan is immediately intrigued by this girl who can beat him, and she gets a lot of recognition for beating the best player. She gets offered a scholarship to come play chess, and she takes up just that because it does come with some money that can help out the family. And obviously, we have a rivals to lovers romance between Mallory and Nolan. The one thing I can't speak to in this book is whether the chess is accurate. No idea. Do not play chess. Did not know. I will assume that it is until someone tells me otherwise. But did me not knowing about chess deter from the book? No. I gave this 4 stars at the time. I was not doing half stars at the time. I think if I was doing half stars, this would have got a 4.5. But I have since adopted half stars, but I wasn't giving them at the time. And now we are at the first place, which obviously there's only one Ali Hazelwood left. So you know what it's going to be. And it's going to be the most recent release of Not in Love. I found this book such a vibes book, and I really did enjoy it. It is definitely your normal Ali Hazelwood book. It's a STEM romance. However, it is a lot smuttier than a normal Ali Hazelwood romance would be. Is it the smuttiest book I've ever read? No, not even close. But it is definitely a bit more on the smutty side than any of the other books I just mentioned. In this book, we follow Rue and Eli, and Rue really does not do relationships, has no interest, only does hookups, does a lot of dating apps. That's all Rue wants. She actually meets Eli the night before he shows up at her job on a dating site for a one-night stand. Eli works as a hedge fund manager or something in finance. I feel like it was a hedge fund, but I could be thinking wrong, but something in finance. And they now have taken the loan that her business has and is about to take over her place of employment. She works in food science and she is best friends with the owner. So this definitely creates an enemies to lovers situation. Again, another enemies to lovers romance, and it's definitely something that Ali Hazelwood likes to fall back on. However, they really do not stay enemies for long, and they do want to explore this attraction that they have from that one-night stand. And this turns into a forbidden lovers romance. And I just had a really fun time with this book. It was such a vibe. I gave it 4.5 stars. Again, this is just a little bit higher than Check and Mate due to the fact that I now do 0.5 stars, I think they would have technically had the same rating if I would have been using 5-star ratings at the time. But I still think if I look back, my enjoyment level of Not in Love was just a teeny tiny bit higher than Check and Mate. And that does show that most of Ali Hazelwood's newer releases are in the top half of this rating other than Bride. But again, Bride is not something that is really in my typical enjoyment level anyway, just straight off with genre. So I cannot wait to see the next book that Ali Hazelwood has in store because the most recent releases have been hitting for me. But that is my ranking for Ali Hazelwood books. I would love to know what your least favorite, most favorite. Let me know kind of your Ali Hazelwood ratings down in the description box below. And if you have nothing to chat with me down in the comment section down below, why don't you leave a trophy emoji for the winning book of Not in Love. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.